in the spirit of not doing the old mother-dad deal. How many times have you seen the little rascal so clever go in there and mama told him, you're not going to get it. And goes in to daddy, who only sees him after 5 in the afternoon, wants to love him, and says, you can have it, son. You can have that before dinner. And he goes back in and says, Mama, Daddy said I could have it. That's the old mom, dad, been around since the beginning of time. I'm not going to go for that here. That's what's happening.
You're not going for it?
I'm not going for it. No. But we've had a very, very strong negotiation. Now, by the way, frankly, it wouldn't have made any difference what the negotiation was. Guess who has to be comfortable for this to work?
Micah.
And who else?
You.
Hello. There's not room for a third. There's not room for a third. This will be a good one. Now, I do want those fans to enjoy winning. Mm-hmm. I do. Mm-hmm. And we're the 6th winningest team in the last 20 years, not counting Super Bowls in the NFL.
Let me add this. No. By the way, more Pro Bowl, more first-team All-Pro players than anybody but the Ravens and the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I mean, since 1996. So let's get that out the way, too.
Yeah. One of the things I was trying to make the point earlier, I can hang my hat on that. That gives me a little bit of a base to step forward out here on Monday or Wednesday and go to work and go get it. I know that we've been where we had a chance to reach one of those Super Bowls. And I've been to Super Bowls. And I know we've had a chance to be there. We haven't. And boy, do I get it. I get it. When we wanted to send the details to the agent told us to stick it up our ass.
Oh, wait, now see, I was
just so you're clear.
Wait, what do you mean? So wait, what do you mean? Because people are going to ask.
Mike and I talked, and then we were going to send it over to the agent. And we had our agreements on term, amount, guarantees, everything. We were going to send it over to the agent, and the agent said, don't bother because we've got all that to negotiate. Well, I'd already negotiated. I'd already moved off my mark over several areas. And so the issue, very frankly, is we've had the negotiation in my mind. And the agent's trying to get his nose in it right now and try to come in there and improve off the mark that we'd already said. It's the mama-daddy deal. You go into mama, and she won't do it. And she's the boss, so she won't do it. So you run into daddy, daddy says do it, and then you go back in and say, Mama, Daddy said it was all right. It's the old Mama, Daddy deal. We've all been there and done that. Well, we've got this thing resolved in my mind for the Dallas Cowboys. And we've got it done, and if the agent wants to finish up the detail, which is should, and do all the paperwork, and he can do that. And we're ready to go. But as far as the amount of money, the years, the guarantees, all of that, we negotiate that.
I just hit David Mulugheta, and I simply asked him, I said, did you tell Jerry Jones to stick the contract up his ASS? Because I was like, ain't no way. And he laughed, and he said, I've never used that phrase in my life. So for anybody who is reporting that, for Jerry Jones saying that, this is false. This never happened. This is just another public way to make this situation, which is already ugly, even uglier. David Mulugheta in no way has ever told Jerry Jones or any other general manager or owner that. It's all bullcrap. It's all lies.
The Dallas Cowboys, America's team, a franchise built on glitz, drama, and star power. But now, the Cowboys aren't making headlines for football dominance. They're making headlines for chaos. Micah Parsons, the defensive superstar, wants his payday. Jerry Jones, the billionaire owner, insists he's already offered it. And in the middle of it all, accusations, betrayal, and an agent Jerry says told him to, quote, stick it up our ass. This is no longer just a contract negotiation. This is a war.
I am a grown-ass man. Ain't no mama, daddy. You ain't my daddy, and this ain't no damn plantation. And what I know is I know my value of who I am and what I'm worth. And the market dictates who I am and what I'm worth. And what do you mean? I'm closer to my agent. I still work for my agent right now. He's the closest thing to family I ever had. You're temporarily my boss. You're my boss. It's no personal relationship with me and you. We ain't homies. We ain't boys. Because I knew if I got injured right now, you'll step over me and hire the next guy, right? What do you mean? I'm not some child. I know what the hell I'm talking about, and I pay my agent so I don't get screwed over like players used to, right? The same thing I had to watch Emmitt Smith go through after he put his body on the line, played with separated shoulders, gonna be sitting up there on pain pills the rest of his life, probably got arthritic limbs, getting post-surgeries in his 50s. So that's why my agent protects me from myself, because he knows how much I love the game, and you know how much I love the game. You could have got this over with last year by paying me early. If you would have just gave me $35 million, you would have saved that. I guarantee you the contract they're offering to Micah right now is more than what they could have got him for last year. So that's you not doing your due diligence as a businessman, recognizing my value early. We don't have to talk about Garrett Wilson and Sauce because they got paid early because they recognized we knew Micah Parsons was special day one. Man, don't come at me like this on plantation and, boy, go do your work. Because I got value. And listen, I'll come here and I'll sit and stand on principle. I'll come in here and play 1 or 2 games and sit down, and I'll look my teammates in the eye, and they'll understand exactly, because if it's me today, it's you tomorrow.
Yep. It's certainly not enough to trade him. And the idea that just because the front office made the mistake of not paying him early, which I think we all agree is a mistake, means now they should make a mistake even worse by moving on from him, accumulating draft picks, in hopes that they might get a player like Micah Parsons. That's nonsense. They should keep him. They should pay him. And then you can figure it out with the rest. It's not an untenable cap situation to pay him and restructure Dak Prescott. I've looked at it. It is entirely possible for this team to do this.
Yeah, they can pay him, but then how does your team get markedly better from what it was last year? They got 25 free agents, y'all.
Time
They
out.
got Turpin,
This ain't unsportsmanlike.
Trading him?
This ain't hold on, y'all. Hold on. This ain't unsportsmanlike. This is First Take. We have this segment because you brought up culture. You brought up the podcast. You brought up the locker room. Now, we can go back and forth in terms of the numbers. We playing a numbers game. All right, he's one player. You're already paying CeeDee Lamb and Dak. You add Micah Parsons to that. It's problematic. I got that part. You could go either way with what you said or Mina saying you can restructure his deal or what have you. I'm not debating that. The reason this is a segment, First Take, the reason this is a segment is because you brought up culture. You brought up the podcast. You brought up the locker room and the comment about Mike McCarthy. That is the reason we are talking about this subject. If it was just a matter of numbers, we wouldn't have been addressing this. We did this days ago. We did this because you went on the air and you brought up culture and blamed him, which to me is crazy. That's just crazy. You don't blame Micah Parsons for culture in Dallas?
Well, Stephen A., if I'm going to pay a guy $40 million a year, he's going to have to be a part of the culture being a good thing, not something that my organization and the rest of my locker room has to overcome.
So I can pay a dude 40, I can pay a dude 60 that can't get it done, but I'm going to have a problem playing a brother 30 to 40 who does.
On Michael Irvin's YouTube channel, Jerry Jones dropped a bombshell. He claimed he and Micah Parsons had already agreed on the biggest contract ever for a defensive player. Jones said the deal would have made Parsons the highest-paid guaranteed player in NFL history outside of quarterbacks. Nobody appreciates Micah Parsons more than the Cowboys or me, Jerry said. Nobody has ever offered him more money than I have to play football. Period to Jerry. The deal was done. The money, the years, the guarantees, settled. He claimed he was ready to write the check. But then he turned his fire on Parsons' agent, David Mulugheta. When we wanted to send the details to the agent, Jerry snapped, the agent told us to stick it up our ass. That's right. The billionaire owner of the Dallas Cowboys just told the world he was disrespected in the most brutal way possible. Parsons, meanwhile, saw things differently. Earlier this month, on August 1st, he stunned Cowboys Nation by making his trade request public. According to Parsons, the meeting he wanted with Jerry wasn't about money at all. It was about leadership. But instead of addressing his concerns about culture and accountability, Jerry Jones turned the meeting into a contract showdown. Parsons said enough was enough. No more backroom talks. No more being sidelined while his future was decided without his agent. He went public, and the storm began. Jerry, of course, denied the narrative. He insisted Parsons was already taken care of. To Jerry, the contract fight was over. The only obstacle was an agent refusing to sign on the dotted line. But Parsons saw it differently. And when trust breaks, money doesn't fix it.
How close are you to getting a deal with him?
Mike is a great player, not a good player, but a great player. He knows more than anyone that it's a team thing. And so I know everybody's tired of hearing this, but you've got to put this puzzle together so that you can have some other people out there playing with Michael. That's the art of the deal, and that's why we're trying to get done. And we're trying to make this thing work. But we have all the appreciation in the world for what he can mean to the years ahead. We're proud to have him.
At training camp in Oxnard, Jerry casually dropped another bomb. He had offered to guarantee close to $200 million. That figure would blow away current defensive player contracts. Myles Garrett's guaranteed $123 million, Nick Bosa's $119 million, Jamar Chase's $112 million. Jerry claims he's willing to crush them all for Parsons. But here's the twist. There's still no deal. If Jerry truly offered that much guaranteed money, why isn't Parsons smiling in a Cowboys uniform? Why is he standing on the sidelines, arms folded, demanding a trade? The answer lies in one word: power. Jerry believes he holds the cards. Parsons believes he's being strong-armed. And the agent, caught in the middle, has turned the situation personal.
The Red Raiders, we were the Red Raiders in the 60s. I was the running back, and we used to shift like the Cowboys.
Landry.
So I said, oh, the Cowboys play like us.
Right.
I've been a Cowboy fan since the 60s. He's making it hard for me. Wow. Not to be a fan, because I'm still a Cowboy fan. I'm still going to have the star on the side of the hat. But he ain't thinking about us. He's thinking about his pocket.
Not all contract holdouts are the same, and the media tends to always take the player's side in this. I get that with Terry McLaurin of Washington. I'm on his side. I'm not on Micah Parsons. First of all, I was on team trade Micah Parsons a year ago. The Cowboys are a mile from the Philadelphia Eagles roster composition. They need 4 good players. I would have gotten a couple of second-round picks, maybe a first and a fourth, whatever. I like Micah. He's a good player. But I'm not making him the highest paid defensive end. He's not Myles Garrett. He's not Aiden Hutchinson. He's not Max Crosby. He's not TJ Watt. He's not Nick Bosa. I like him a lot.
I would expect that the Packers would be among the teams interested. And I would say I would expect the Packers would be among the teams really interested.
Okay.
They have paid Jordan Love. They have a bunch of really good young players, but they haven't. There's some guys like Quay Walker they have not paid. Dak Dom they paid, but they have money to spend, and they are really good. And so like that's the kind of team that I would say if Micah was going to be traded that he'd be going to, because it's like we need one final piece. This guy is an absolute dog. He's worth all the money, so pay him all the money. I mean, God only knows what Mulugheta would make that contract. It'd be all of it. But it'd be worth it because you'd get Micah Parsons.
This comes off, look, RC hit it right. Look, it is tone deaf. I mean, they're talking like, poor us. Why are you picking on us? Why are you talking about us all the time? We're just doing business like everyone else. No, you're not. No other team in the NFL has an owner who now is holding it against a player. The fact that he had a private conversation with him and thought that they had a deal and were trying to bypass the agent, and now they are going to engage in this petty kind of behavior to where I won't talk to you now because I thought I had a deal with the player. No other owner does that. How the hell can we not talk about that kind of thing? That is such a unique storyline. I've never heard of that. I never heard of that during my time as a player dog. I haven't heard of that during my time as a front office person. I haven't heard of that during my time here at ESPN of an owner refusing to talk to an agent saying, look, I think that the conversation I had with the player is binding and we should go off of that. That's just ridiculous. And then when they talk about the fact, she also made comments about, the fact that there's a salary cap, there's only so much money to go around, and we can't pay everyone. It's like, understand, you're managing the salary cap. You're the ones who are choosing to strike contracts and write contracts the way in which you are, in the time in which you do, that puts you at a deficit every single time. They're making their own situations here. We're just talking about them because they're so unique and so dysfunctional.
Jerry Jones has been here before. He reminded everyone of how he handled Dak Prescott's contract. When Dak's negotiations dragged, Jerry let him play out his final year, franchise tagged him, and eventually got a deal done, on Jerry's terms. "We've really got 3 years to work this thing out," Jerry said. "My job is managing the check. Micah's job is playing football. The least important person in this equation is the agent." Translation: Jerry's ready to play hardball. Parsons is under team control for 2025. After that, Jerry can use the franchise tag twice, just like he did with Dak. So when Jerry looks into the camera and says, "The Cowboys have this deal resolved" in his mind, he means one thing: Micah Parsons isn't going anywhere. At least, not unless Jerry says so. But here's the problem. Jerry Jones isn't just playing poker with a defensive end. He's gambling with the heart of his football team. Micah Parsons isn't just another player. He's the engine of the Cowboys' defense. He's the difference maker that turns Dallas from a playoff team into a Super Bowl contender. Without him, the Cowboys lose their edge. And worse, the locker room knows it. Players see their leader being disrespected. They see the tension spilling into practice. They see Jerry Jones crying on camera one day, throwing verbal haymakers the next. How long before the cracks in the front office become cracks in the team?
You can't get a deal done if you're not even talking. And the two sides haven't had any negotiations since late March or early April. And it sounds like at this point it's personal. It sounds like each side is dug in. The Cowboys have come out and said what they said publicly at the start of training camp, which Micah didn't like. Micah came out and asked to be traded, said he was ready to move on from Dallas, which I'm sure they didn't like. And right now, both sides seem to be angry. Now, have other people put those feelings aside in the past and figured out a way to work out a deal? Yeah. I don't see that happening here. I see these two sides headed towards a divorce in time. The only question is, when is that divorce going to happen and how is it going to happen? Are they going to trade him now? Are they going to trade him after this year? Are they going to move on when? But it certainly doesn't feel like these two sides want to enter a long-term relationship together. That's the way it feels today, and we'll see if they do anything to change that before the regular season begins in a couple of weeks.
This is more than money. This is ego versus ego. Jerry Jones, the billionaire oil man who built the Cowboys into the most valuable sports franchise in the world, versus Micah Parsons, the young superstar who believes his greatness deserves respect and security. The longer this drags out, the uglier it will get. Jerry insists Parsons will suit up for Week 1 against the Eagles. But if Parsons digs in, If he refuses to play, if the agent keeps blocking progress, then we're looking at a full-on Cowboys civil war. So what happens next? Option 1, Jerry and the agent bury the hatchet, the paperwork gets signed, and Parsons becomes the richest defensive player in NFL history. Option 2, Parsons refuses to play, forcing Jerry into a decision. Trade him for a mountain of draft picks, or let him rot on the sidelines. Option 3, this drags into 2026 with franchise tags and more chaos until either Jerry Jones or Micah Parsons finally blinks. No matter how you spin it, this isn't just business, it's personal. The Dallas Cowboys were supposed to be chasing the Super Bowl. Instead, they're chasing headlines. Jerry Jones swears he's offered everything Parsons could ever want. Parsons swears he no longer trusts Jerry's word. And an agent has become the villain in Jerry's story of betrayal. The numbers are historic. The money is massive. But the truth? This isn't about money anymore. It's about pride. It's about power. And in Dallas, pride and power always end in drama. So buckle up, Cowboys Nation. Because whether Micah Parsons takes the field or walks away, this season won't just be about football. It'll be about a contract war that could define the future of America's team.
Everybody has a threshold for disrespect, and we just heard Adam Schefter that he doesn't think he'll finish his career in Dallas. Your reaction to that?
I agree with him. Listen, Jerry could change his mind, get him signed, and obviously he can franchise him or what have you, but I think that Jerry is looking at the money he's already doled out on Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb, a couple of other players. You're spending over damn near $200 million on 3 players, and Micah Parsons will be a 4th. You can't conduct business in the NFL that way. You still got to fill out a roster. And I think that right now he is contemplating looking at Micah Parsons and seeing what value you can get in return for his services. You might be able to pick up a couple of first-round picks. You might be able to pick up a couple of players. I mean, this could be a mega deal if you're Jerry Jones, and you're probably looking at it that way. Plus, he seems a bit salty towards Micah Parsons. Again, I have no problem with any kind of that thinking. My issue with Jerry Jones, which I will say to him whenever it is that I see him, is that how dare you not talk to his agent? You know, the kid is 25 years old at the time that you're having these conversations. He turned 26 in May, if I remember correctly. Okay? You know, stop acting like talking with him is a negotiation. It's not. That is incredibly and completely unfair. Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys franchise is worth $12.8 billion, according to Forbes. They have elevated by $9.4 billion since last winning a Super Bowl on January 28, 1996. They are the most prestigious franchise, arguably, in all of sports. And Jerry Jones is at the head of all of it as a marketing and business genius. Why are you acting like you're playing fair when you were negotiating with a 26-year-old football player about his on-field performance and what that level of compensation should look like? That is incredibly unfair. I think the NFL Players Association needs to get involved. I think the NFL needs to get involved because I think that's flagrant taking advantage, that's flagrant abuse of a player. You can't do that. He has a representative. His name is David Mulugheta. That brother is considered one of the best agents in the world. And you haven't been on the phone with him? That is inexcusable. There is no defense for that. And that is what this issue is. And that's why I think that Micah Parsons could end up being gone because of the stance that Jerry Jones has taken. And at this point, I don't think Micah Parsons would even mind. He wants to go where he wants to go. But I don't think that he's fixated on remaining in Dallas. After all, he did ask to be traded. And I think he means it.